Right then, welcome back to the podcast. Today, I'm sitting down with a category of individual that I honestly didn't think I'd be sitting here with, and that is a Love Island winner. Now, we had Kai on the Brew on Stretford Paddock. I thought it was about a year ago. You said it was a couple of years ago.
2.5 years ago. 2.5 years ago.
Wow. Okay, that's flown. And obviously, I've followed Kai since then, and I'm be real with you, like I've just been with him. I don't think this is a typical Love Island guy. Like, this doesn't strike me as like there is a stereotype, isn't there, of a Love Island person. And I've followed him since then, and I've gone, I like this guy. I like this bloke. I think he's not playing that reality TV sort of game that you see a lot of people get into. And I think he's got a real fascinating story, and I think you guys should hear it. So, Kai, welcome to the show, mate.
Well, firstly, what I'm going to say is I was very, very shocked when you asked me to come on here, because, like I said, I didn't think that you would have a Love Island guy on here. But I guess I'll say, like, yeah, I am very different to the other boys, okay, that have went on Love Island. And also, I've seen everything that you're putting out, and it's unreal, and it's, like, I respect it so much. I'm a massive fan of Stretford Paddock. I'm a massive fan of your channel as well. So it's, like, it's an honour to be on here with you, to be honest. All
right, nice one, cheers. So hopefully we do this justice, and get it out there. Because like I said, you know, I think you just seem like a real regular, normal guy. What made you want to go on Love Island? Because for me, it's always been like a bit of a category of bellend that I never really thought I would align with. Yet, you know, here you are, and I think, yeah, that's a guy that I would spend a bit of time with.
Yeah, well, you know what? It goes back, to tell you why I went on Love Island, it probably goes back to when I started teaching. So I started teaching, absolutely love working in education. Like, it's a massive passion of mine still teach. But when I got to a position in my career where I just wasn't happy at the school that I was at, then one of my mates just goes to me, throws a bit of banter, he goes, oh, why didn't you apply for Love Island? And I was like, you know what, okay, let me have a bash. And the same day I applied for it was the same day I got a message back. And the next day I was getting interviews, and I was like, this thing that was supposed to be a joke all of a sudden is becoming reality. But the reason why I wasn't happy in my teaching at the time was because I got my job because one of my main passions as well is sport. I absolutely love sport. Every single sport I started doing. And I got my job, and I was employed as a teacher of PE. Then I went back in September, and I thought, yeah, this is going to be great. Got my timetable, looked at my timetable, and it changed to 80% science, 20% PE. And I just wasn't, if I'm going to be completely honest, I wasn't capable of teaching science at that level. So it was like, I handed in my notice. I spoke to a head teacher. I was like, nobody told me that my timetable was going to change like this. I can't do these children justice teaching chemistry, physics and biology when I'm not qualified in any of them. I went, why have you picked me? She turned around and said, well, the reason why we picked you is because you're the most qualified to teach them. And I looked at it and
you're saying, I'm not qualified?
Yeah, well, I'm not qualified. And I looked at it and I thought, my undergraduate degree's in sport and exercise science. Okay, there's elements of biology in there. My master's degree, so my postgraduate was in human nutrition. And I did my QTS, which was in PE. And I was just like, how can you justify me teaching physics, chemistry to these students when I don't know what I'm teaching?
And that's at GCSE level?
So that went, I had some at GCSE level, but the majority was like key stage 3, so up to year 9, but it's still hard and it's still the fundamental years. They've still got to decide in year 9 if they're going to pick triple science. And it's not fair that I was their teacher. If I'm being completely honest, I'd look at myself and think, I am not doing them justice. And if I was a parent and I was sending my child to school, would I be happy with me teaching them? I mean, I tried my absolute hardest. Every single night I'd be up reading, I'd be going through the syllabus, making sure that I knew. I was watching so much YouTube, but I wasn't a science teacher. So all of a sudden I started to rethink what I was doing, and I started to apply for other teaching roles, handed in my notice, and then, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, one of my friends said to me, why didn't you apply for Love Island? And I applied for it, and then that just became a very, very real scenario, very quick, so quick that I didn't really get time to think about it, but I just thought, why not? Why? And that's the honest answer. So.
Before we talk about the process of that going into the house then, so let's roll it back a little bit, because I find that fascinating. One, that you ended up putting your notice in, which is obviously going to be a hardship for yourself. without another job to just immediately bounce into. How frequent does that happen for someone on the outside that, you are, by all intents and purposes, a PE teacher, and it's like, hey, nerd, pick up the science books and go and teach that class? Does that happen a lot?
Yeah. I think it happens a lot more often than you think. But for me, it was a fact that nobody actually spoke to me and said, are you capable of this?
Timetabled it, deal with it.
And as I mentioned earlier, I was employed as a teacher of PE, and I thought I was employed as a teacher of PE. But then when I went and spoke to the head teacher, she said, well, I didn't really realise that I had to tell you anything, because when you're employed, you're not employed as a teacher of PE, you're employed as a teacher of. So they can basically just add any subject after that. And I don't know if it's like that at every school. I doubt it's like that at every school. But at the school that I was working at, that's what it was like. So I think it happens quite often. There's also a lot of times when people don't have degrees, but they're teaching. So you can teach as an unqualified teacher in some, I think it's mainly in academies. So people don't necessarily have a background in it, but they might have a practical background. So they might have been in, I don't know, so say if you're a drama teacher, they might have not have a degree in drama. They might have more hands-on, they might have been an actor, which I think's fair play. Like, you're actually doing it on the job. But in my case, in my scenario, it was hard. Like, it was hard, and it probably wasn't right.
You can't really qualify experience with biology and physics.
Yeah.
Those and chemistry. Those are factual things that you kind of need to know the facts and how they relate, don't you?
Do you know what makes it worse for me, though, is I was still going through it. So and when you qualify as a teacher, you have 2 years, and you're newly qualified up until you finish your ECT years. And that was going into my second year. So I was still getting tested on my teaching. And then we would come into my lessons and we would say...
when they're doing subjects you're not
but
confident
that's
with.
it. And then it wasn't whether I was comfortable or not. We'd say, well, his subject knowledge isn't there. But then I'm sat there thinking, how can I get tested on my QTS and my teaching ability when I never signed up for this? And now all of a sudden, my career is getting questioned because the school, somebody's made a decision in the school to put me on a course that I've never ever said that I wanted to teach or I was capable of teaching. And I had to do experiments in front of the classrooms, big like titrations, everything. And I was just, didn't know what I was doing. Imagine that. You've got a class of 30 students and we've all got a Bunsen burner each, but you've never taught it before in your life. You're still trying to figure it out. And yeah, they're messing with like the hydrogen, hearing it pop and stuff. And it just completely went over my head, if I'm going to be honest. Yeah.
Could that have been something that ended up with you leaving that as a career, if that had have been forced down that avenue a bit further? Yeah,
definitely. 100%. I feel like I was applying for other jobs and I loved teaching. The first time I walked into a classroom in my teacher training, I was like, this is for me. But I love teaching sport. And if I couldn't have got another role teaching in a different school, I think I probably would have just took a step aside and applied for other jobs elsewhere. It's difficult. It was difficult.
So it's the sport, obviously, that you prefer. When did you know that you wanted to do that?
So I finished university, as I mentioned briefly before, so I did my undergraduate degree.
Which uni was you at, Manchester?
No, I went to Sheffield Hallam, and then I went to Sheffield Uni, and then I went to I did a skit, so I was awarded it from my Met for my PGCE. And by the end of my postgraduates of a master's, I sat down and thought, what do I want to do? What do I want to do in my life? I can't just... That's another thing as well. So my master's was in human nutrition, but anybody can become a nutritionist. You don't need to have a degree in nutrition to become a nutritionist.
You've done a master's in it.
Yeah, and I...
Mad overqualified.
Yeah, well, that was it. But then I couldn't go and necessarily work for the NHS because the NHS hired dietitians. So dietitians are a lot more qualified than I would have been as a nutritionist. So it wasn't... It looks pretty. Okay, that postgrad is just a pretty one to have, but it doesn't really mean anything. And that's something I came to learn very quickly. But then I wasn't too fussed because by the time it was coming to the end of that, I'd already decided that I wanted to start my teaching journey because I was being self-reflective. And I looked at my life and I thought, what has had the biggest impact on my life? And the biggest impact on my life that I could think was my teacher. When I was in secondary school. So my first day of secondary school, PE teacher came up to me and he was like, "Hey up, big lad, I'll see you at rugby training tonight." And I just remember it so thoroughly because I had absolutely no friends on my first day. I was just walking around. I didn't have friends for probably the first year of secondary school.
Did you go from a smaller primary school to like one that's a secondary school, like some massive satellite one?
No, so I went to Ashton and Mersey, which is in Sale, but you have to live within a catchment area. But I didn't live in the catchment area, and what happened is my mum put my grandparents' address on to get me into that school, so I was the only person coming from my primary school going there. So everybody already had like established friendships and everything. So
that's quite a rough thing to take at 11 as well, like, and going in with no mates.
Yeah, no, it was hard. And I don't think, I'm not a very, people will laugh at me when I say this and not believe me, but I'm not a very social person. Like, I have to get geared up for it. And even back then, I had to get geared up for it. I'd be talking to myself like, go on, just go up to this person, say hi, introduce yourself. And it was tough. I remember just walking around on my own for ages. But I've got an older sister, so she's 2 years older than me. And every now and then she would let me chill with her. Okay, but yeah, that was only every now and then. Up until obviously I got a bit more established in my school and I got to know people a bit more. So yeah, it was tough.
So when a teacher's come up to you, because you are fucking massive.
Yeah.
So literally he's just looked at the size of you and gone, rugby player, happy days.
Literally, like, he came up to me and was like, "See you at rugby training tonight." And I went, "Okay, yeah, I'll come." Like, give it a bash. Went down, I never looked back. And I didn't realise, I always say to people, didn't realise that one interaction was going to change everything for me. Like, all of a sudden it became my main, well, it's hard to, rugby is one of those sports that you don't have to follow to love. Whereas if you play football, more than likely you're going to support a football team, but rugby's not like that. So I was just obsessed with the actual playing of the sport. Didn't necessarily follow it, but absolutely obsessed with it. So then all of a sudden I'm training 2-3 times a week, going down. Then I get to 16, 17, then you're playing your coach rugby, like touch into a little bit of academy rugby, go to university, playing university rugby, get opportunities to travel through like representation rugby. Every single place, every single city I've ever been to, I've always joined a rugby team. And a rugby community you can't explain it unless you're in it. Like, when you're in a rugby community, it's almost like you know everybody already. And the friendships that you make and the fact that people actually care for you. You've not got a lift? Okay, yeah, I'll give you a lift. You need a job? Yeah, we'll find you a job. You need somebody to just talk to? Yeah, we've got this. And that's something that I just started to identify myself with. And I still identify myself with it massively now. It still massively impacts my life constantly. I look at it and I think, if that one teacher didn't introduce me to rugby, then my life would look completely different. You
had no family members that ever played it, nothing like that. So you was introduced to it just through school.
Yeah, just through school. And I was the only, I grew up in Sale, so like not far from Old Trafford. So it was just Manchester United. And the school I went, Ashton's the Man United school, so you had all the academy lads there. So all my family were just Reds, and that's it. And I was one that stepped out the norm a little bit. And it was just like I said, it was all consuming. It was one of those things. And if I'm going to be completely honest and self-reflective, it was the first time I was actually good at something. And I think that's another thing that threw me into it, because I looked at myself and I was the best in the team. I was scoring constantly. But any other sport I ever tried to play, I was probably just below average. Even in school, I was just very, very average in school as well. But that gave me something to strive towards and something for people to look and be like, yeah, he's that guy. So,
did you? So you pick it up just playing for school and then join a club?
Yeah, then I joined. So I was probably in like year 9 when I went down to my first club. I went down to Ashton and Mersey Rugby Club. And,
Banky Lane?
Yeah, down Banky Lane. And it was weird because that club, we weren't in any league. It was just a bunch of lads, must have been about 10 of us, that just absolutely loved rugby, and would go down Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday and just play games against each other. So it'd be five against 5. And then I moved to another team. So then I moved to Trafford, Metrovix, and that's when my rugby started to really develop. And at one point I started to think, I've got a bit of an opportunity to have a career in this. But I feel like the way I played rugby didn't really, at that time, it didn't really hit the academy system. So when I was getting picked up by academies and they were taking me down, do you like those open trials when you're younger? You go to open trials and there's probably like 200 children trialing. And I remember I went down to Stella Sharks and I was the only person from that trial to get in. And I'm looking at myself thinking, I must be unreal. Yeah, I must be so good at rugby. But then I realised once I went down that I was probably getting picked up more because my attributes, I was fast, I was quick, and I was strong in comparison. But I'd never played rugby to a structure. And that really, when you put me with players who are like basically in my age group at Sale was the Curry twins. Curry twins are absolutely tearing it up.
Details.
Yeah, it's the details. It's like, can you hit the line? Can you make the tackle? Can you ruck over? And at the time, I was like, nah, just pass me a ball. I'll absolutely bosh it up the pitch, right? And I'll score you a try, but that's not what you look for because you get found out. And I didn't realise that at the time. But after a while, Sale were like, yeah, you know what? Okay, you're all right. Good luck in the future. There you go. Then I went to university, started playing rugby league. And then all of a sudden, because of the style of rugby that I play.
Oh, of course, at Sheffield.
Yeah, Sheffield.
It's a good rugby league university, Sheffield.
Yeah, it was quality. Like, all of a sudden, I think within 6 months, I was playing for, Great Britain students, England students. I was getting, the championship clubs coming up to me saying, oh, do you want to come and have a bash with us and stuff like that, see how it goes. But then that just fizzled out. I don't even know why I stopped playing rugby league because I probably could have had a bit of it. I'm not saying, top tier, but I probably could have been playing, League One champs in rugby league. But I just stopped playing and started playing rugby. I think it's because I finished university, then moved back to Manchester, and where I'm from in Manchester, there's no league teams. And I didn't drive at the time, so it's not like I could have just got in my car and went anywhere. Just started playing rugby union again and just thought, you know what, okay, let me focus on my career.
There's a couple of things that I think is worth drilling into. I think for young men especially, I think community is important for everyone, boys and girls, but I think for young men especially, there has to be an outlet. And I think it's such an easy way to make mates. What an absolute easy conduit to. He's on our team, so he's all right.
Yeah, no,
you're my mate now.
No,
Game over.
Honestly, it's literally that. And you can go anywhere. You can go any city in the world, and you'll find it doesn't necessarily have to be rugby. But what I'm saying is, a rugby community really looks after you. And when you're in with them, you're in with them. I've moved to a new city recently. Well, past couple of years, went down, joined the local rugby club, and now you're there and you're going out for birthdays. You're in with them. You're having a laugh with them. You feel like you're one of them because at the end of the day, when you go out on a Saturday, you put your bodies on the line and you're there it's the most, I'd say rugby's probably, you played rugby, didn't you? So it's everything. It's probably, you're literally going to war. I've got this egg in my hand and whoever's the strongest can play it 100 metres in front on the other line, but I'm going to have people throwing their bodies at me, tackling me, trying to drag me to the ground, but then I've also got 14 lads behind me who are going to back me up no matter what. And that's just it.
Yeah, I played football to not a good level, and I played rugby to a pretty good level. I played GB Students. I was at Salford's Academy Rugby League until I was 18, and then when they binned me, I joined the army. Once I joined the army, I did a year with Doncaster's Academy and then one with Keighley's Academy until I was 21, and then everyone realised I was clearly not good enough. And
big clubs there, aren't they?
And then I got binned off. But yeah, I enjoy the gritty nature of rugby, and I wasn't a talented rugby player, but I work hard, and that was all I had. I was like Tevez relentlessness. I'll make 6 tackles in a set of 6. That was it. I ain't taking it in. That's a mugs game. I'm not doing that, but I'll tackle anything that moves. And I always liked how that hard work was rewarded. I was a walking yellow card at football because I played the exact same way that I played rugby. And again, not skillful, but I'll smash you.
Yeah.
But I do like the community angle that you always got with rugby. And I think football, I'm a bit similar to you in a way that I followed Salford, but it was so far down the list compared to United. Yeah. I was always watching it from 6 years old. I would go to United with my dad and watch it on telly and obsessed with watching it. Whereas rugby was what I liked to do more. Yeah, and there's a visceral thing to rugby in there. Like you said, it is a bit more gladiatorial, and the community is a little bit stronger, I think, than you get with football clubs.
Yeah, nobody understands how you can love a sport, but at the time not love every single aspect of it,
or have a team in it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, people ask me all the time now, who's yours? Like now, I love watching rugby. I watch rugby all the time. I'm at a game near enough every single weekend. I go all the time, so I can tell you everything about it. But that's just come with a bit of age and probably United not doing so well. So, but it's just one of those sports that I think there's more to it. There's more to it than just watching a team and following the team. I think and most people that are involved in rugby will tell you the exact same thing. They probably support their local community team more than they would support any professional team, whether it's in the 7th tier, 8th tier or 9th tier. They'll be down.
The grassroots is huge, to a point that's not the same in football.
Absolutely enormous. Look at, I'll give you an example. So Sale SC. So Sale SC Grassroots Rugby Club. I think it's one of the oldest rugby clubs in the world, but probably about 15 years ago, they were languishing probably like, I don't even know, like 8th, 9th tier. Now all of a sudden, they still have the stadium because of how rugby went. Sale Sharks went professional, Sale SC stayed amateur, but now they're in the 3rd tier. But they have people that turn up. They have people that have season tickets there. You've got another one in Liverpool. You've got Coldy. Coldy literally played. Last time I went to Coldy, they were just playing on a field. They're in Championship now. So they've been in the Championship for the past 3 seasons, I think. And it's just a community rugby club. But then the issues with rugby is that, you can have this amazing Championship with teams that have been promoted from the lower levels of rugby, but you have to have a certain amount of funding and a stadium to be able to go up into the Premiership. So all of a sudden it gets separated. So you have the elite side of rugby and then the non-elite side of rugby, because you just can't progress any further. And I think that's why people really, really get behind their community teams, because they can still go up the national leagues. They can still travel nationally to go and support their teams at a massive level, but they can't necessarily go to that professional level.
One of the things I love about rugby as a culture and as clubs is every single clubhouse, and it's every single clubhouse, you will go in and there will be England shirts in there. Yeah. And this, local grassroots under 11s club, which you're at for an under 11s game, has got 14 England jerseys from 14 different people that graduated this club and then went and played for England. Yeah. And I love that. Like that.
I'm proud as well.
Yeah, that doesn't exist in football.
You have it. I'm trying to think of the most local one. So just down the road, Broughton Park, not far from here.
I used to play at Broughton Park.
Well, they have Rafi Quirk, England squad now at Sale Sharks.
They've got the entire foyer covered in English in shirts. Yeah,
and it's mental because their men's first team isn't actually that good. As bad as it sounds, saying like they're a very good team, don't get me wrong, with a lot of history, but I think they're probably about like level 6, level 7, but their minis and juniors still produce unbelievably talented international players. Another thing as well, when you walk into any rugby club, I don't think it's like this in rugby league, is next time you go into one, go into the in the bar, look up and you'll see these little plaques. And these plaques are every single time you play against a team, for the first time you get a plaque. So if you go to any rugby club in the country, I guarantee they've played against some unreal teams. You just have to look at the plaques.
Yeah, it depends. Like I played for Saddleworth when I was coming up. That's got, the last time I went,
Saddleworth's proper rugby league club.
Yeah, it's one of the best. That's got a clubhouse that's a little bit like that. I played for West Hull as well. West Hull was the best amateur team in the world at the time. Like they was unbelievable. Hull's a weird spot, man. They've got 2 professional rugby league teams and 1 professional football team.
Yeah, and everybody loves rugby league there. Yeah. It's when I first went down there, because that's when I was in like the English students. That's where we'd do the English students training, because most of the boys were from there. And I didn't realize. I walked down. I thought rugby league's a small sport. Like, I thought
not in all.
Yeah, there's a few clubs like in the northwest of England. Go there, and everybody loves rugby league. It's a main thing. Hull KR, Hull FC, shops everywhere. Everybody's wearing my shirts. They just love it.
Yeah, Hull City is the 3rd team in Hull, which is it's unique. I think I don't think there's anywhere else like that. Even Wigan football team is still huge compared to Wigan Warriors, but Hull is on a different scale.
Yeah, it's mental, but that's a blueprint, isn't it? If we want to grow the sport and continue like claw it back a little bit, the clubs and cities need to get behind it like Hull have.
Yeah, in another way. All right, let's get into the house then. So, work's been a bit iffy.
Yeah.
You've applied on a joke, which that's probably quite common, I would imagine. I think a lot of the people have.
Yeah. So common. Yeah. I didn't even fill out the application properly. Yeah, that's the most insane thing. I think I literally just filled it in and then just sent it off, and they contacted me again and said, you need to finish off the application, but then we're going to put you through for an interview.
Imagine how many people that they've just binned by not doing that.
But I think they've got some med AI on the system. So I think because I was a teacher, so when you go onto the show, you have you get put in hiding for 2 weeks, basically. And I was in South Africa, so I got put in hiding with somebody that was a chaperone, and he also worked on the recruitment team for it. spoke to him, I went, why did this happen? And he went, well, you're a teacher and basically everybody's got a teacher, so it's unbelievably relatable. When you're watching it on the TV, they're like, yeah, that's that guy. And then he said it's very uncommon for a teacher to apply for it.
All right.
And then I think, if I'm going to be brutally honest, I think it's ethnicity as well. So a mixed race teacher who's also very tall, I probably hit quite a lot of the categories for them. And I played rugby, so I think it was just those 4 things. And then apart from that, personality, everything else, probably not. Probably didn't even take into consideration. Yeah.
So application goes in. You say you got a phone call.
Yeah, I got a phone call straight. Oh no, I think application went in. Then I got a follow request on Instagram. Accepted it, and then it was like, oh yeah, can I have a phone call? Then I got buzzed up the same day.
Scouting on you.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know why, because I had 600 followers on Instagram and probably about 2 pictures. Yeah, which is like a stark contrast to today. And then he phoned me up and he said, yeah, we'd like to put you through the interview process. And I knew, I think that was in September, I knew probably by the end of September basically that I was going in the Villa. It was like, feel like, yeah, you're not instantly in, but yeah, you're in.
So what's the interview process?
So it's so rigorous, like it's unbelievably rigorous. I must have had about 8 interviews. So you have that initial telephone interview, then you get invited to a Zoom interview. Then after that, you have to talk to a psychologist constantly, every single time you're going through the process, but they're listening to everything. And I remember saying something like, oh, I was gutted when this happened. And I nearly didn't get on the show because they were like, well, what do you mean you're gutted? And I was like, well, somebody that I was close to passed away, of course. Of course I was gutted. I'm not going to be happy, but we won't be like, but why was that your choice of words? And because I was like, I don't know what it's like down south, but up north, right? If you say you're gutted, it's just normal vocab. And then I started getting invited down to London. And so the first trip was down to London, and it was, and I was thinking, this is insane. I was like, I'm teaching. I've got to see out my notice period. How are
you fitting this in around work?
It was like on weekends and stuff like that.
Right.
So yeah, and I was like, and also I'd finish work and I'd have like a Zoom call.
Wow.
That night I'd be like, okay, but I'm going to have to do it at 5:30, 6. So make sure you're ready for that. And when I'd travel down to London, do face-to-face interviews, and they're basically just talking to me like I'm talking to you now, asking me loads of questions just about life. Then you get invited back down to go and do MOT, so it's basically like blood tests, making sure you're not on any steroids, making sure you don't smoke or drink or anything like that, or do drugs. And then I got invited back down again to start doing all the advert stuff. And that was like, I've never seen anything like it.
Is that when you thought you was in then?
That's when I knew I was in, yeah. I pretty much, like I said, I knew by the end of that month I was going in, and it was just a waiting period to go down. So I think I filmed the adverts in December, just before I flew out.
How cringy are they?
Unbelievably cringy. It's horrible. But as I mentioned earlier as well, a little bit, I was like, I'm actually quite like an introverted person. So I had to gear myself up for it. And when I'm walking in, and they're saying, go topless, take your top off, wink at a camera, and I'm thinking, no one's there.
Are you on your own for this? So there's not like 5 or 6 of you in there, it's you
you're on
and
your
a
own.
production crew?
Yeah, it's just you. And when I say production crew, it's not just like 3-4 people. There's a team of probably about 20 people in front of you, music, saying, do this, do that. You'll be stood on the stage, and then they'll come up and put a bit of makeup on your face. I'm thinking, I've never had makeup on in my life. This whole thing, I'm just taking it and I'm just consuming. I'm like, this experience is mad. You feel like the most important person. They make you feel like the most important person in the world. It's so different. You're on.
Anything in there giving you a doubt about going in?
My biggest doubt about going in was just about how my family would be treated, and also if I was to get any backlash for anything, and just so it was all around that, as well, around backlash and how my family would be treated and what my family would think. But it's different because my mum and dad, like, are very, very present in my life, but they're 2 very different people. We got married when we were like 18, 19, and then divorced like very, very quick after that. So then they both went on, had separate lives. But my mum's just like, my mum's just like a typical like mank woman, just like, she loves it. She could fit in Corrie, she'd have a laugh, she could talk anyone's head off. But then my dad's side are very religious, so they're Seventh-day Adventists. And I don't know if do you know what Seventh-day Adventist is? So it's a type of Christian that follows a Bible to the book. So they observe like the Sabbath day, okay, and so they go to church on a Saturday, and my Sabbath day is like Friday night sunset to Saturday sunset. You don't do anything, okay, apart from like spend time with God and stuff like that. Okay, but then on my mum's side, it's very much like just like typical like what you would expect, like growing up in like northwest of England, like that. So it was stark contrast, like my upbringing like that. So I had one that was very religious and it was very much like pray, like reading the Bible, and then one that was just like very typically like British. And so I didn't actually tell my dad. I made the decision not to tell my dad up until I think it was a couple of days before going on, because I knew how he would be. So I thought I'd tell him, spend a bit of time with him, and then just go and take my phone off me, and he won't know anything, because I thought this is going to be something that his belief system probably doesn't agree with. So that was a massive doubt for me. And
was that something that was giving you enough doubt to consider not doing it?
Well, probably, but I think I left it so late. I mean, I was in the position where my notice for my job was near enough up, but I just thought, you know what, I'll just go. And
so you put your notice in,
like
gone on the show, with potentially nothing on the other side.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. But it wasn't like I knew that going on my show, I didn't know for a fact that I'd be able to teach again. I had an idea and a plan of what I wanted to do, and it was always I wanted to be able to work in education again, but like more a coaching side and sports side. And I thought to myself, you know what? At the end of that, I thought my mum will love it, but then I don't want there to be any backlash, like there always typically is with Love Island, depending on how people conduct themselves. I thought my dad, he's a big man. He'll get on with it, okay. And as long as I conduct myself the correct way, he'll support me. And then I thought, job wise, I was convinced as long as I conducted myself in the correct way, that I'd be able to work in education again. And I was 100% convinced of that.
Is that something at the forefront of your mind
every
day waking up in the show? Pretty
much. I was talking about it because I always had this idea and this plan, but I was mentioning to you earlier, okay, that I'm actually like finally putting into motion now, and I really wanted to start coaching children in primary schools. So going in and being like an education provider for young people in primary schools and just teaching pure sport. So that'd be facilitating like holiday camps, the PE lessons, but just doing it at a much younger age. So a lot of people will say, oh yeah, you go on Love Island, you'll never be able to work in education again. But it all comes down to conduct. And when I finished the show, you get tested by the psychs and everything. And you have 10 weeks without your phone, so you don't know what's happening. You don't know what's happening in the outside world. You don't know what's happening. Like, you just don't know anything.
Is there a worry on the edit? Because you hear a lot. Like I said, I haven't watched the show, but I see people complaining, not just on that, but there was things on like Big Brother and stuff like that where they go, the edit did this to me or whatever.
You know, people that say that, I always say this on reality TV, people that say, oh, the edit did this to me, the edit did that. At the end of the day, you're the person that's reacting that way. You're the person that's saying these things. So be accountable for what you've done and just own it. And if you're accountable for everything, then there's not much anybody can say. And I'll say this, I went on that show and I'll hold my hands up. Anything that I said on there, like, I said it, like it's me. Like,
was anything twisted, or was there any backlash in anything that you said?
Nothing. Like, that's something that I was so shocked at. I came off and all I had was positive messages. I was dreading opening my phone because I thought I'm going to get people saying this, saying that, saying this. But even to this day now, so that was like 2.5 years ago, I still get people messaging me saying, oh, it's really nice that because I'm still with my missus, like we're getting married, like it's really nice that you found each other. We really like what you stand for. You still work in education, you still do this, you still said everything that you were going to say, you didn't let it go to your head. So that's it, you just have to be accountable and understand that is you, and don't let anything. And I said earlier, my biggest fears were that my parents were going to be like basically ashamed of me. My mum and dad got divorced 20 odd years ago. When I first got my phone back, I had a Zoom call. It was my mum and dad together. And I was like, that is insane. They were in a room in the house, okay, that my mum and dad bought together 20 odd years ago, like just proud of me. And I was like, this is insane. And then, so they were just like, they were just really happy, and relationships buzzing. Like, my family absolutely loves Sanam. My dad, do you know what I mean? Like, I have no doubts. Like, to me, it was the right decision. Like, and at the time, I've never turned around and said I was proud of winning Love Island, because I ended up winning the show. because I just thought that's not something to be proud of. But I am proud of winning it, and I'm also proud of everything that's come after it and everything that I've been doing after it. Does that make sense? Like, it's...
Well, the whole reason that I asked you to come on is because, like I said, I think you've represented yourself really well, and I enjoy the stuff you put out there, the message you put out, but also the way that you put it out. Like, I think you come across really well. It's probably why you won the show, mate. Let's be real.
Well, no, you know what? I'll admit, okay, I get a few messages and I'm like, oh, no way. But the messages that I get, the only message I've hated is, oh, you're so boring. And I'm like, shit. I'm like sick. I'm like, you know what? If that's going to insult me, then just keep calling me, message every single comment, call me boring, please. Like, because I do not care. Like, I could not care less. So.
I think there's worse things to be called.
Yeah, I know.
And I think, like you said, if you was happy with yourself, your family was happy with the way you conducted yourself.
That's it.
Game over. Yeah, I was going to say you won, but I mean, you literally won. You've come away with a beautiful missus. You come away with a life that you've got a purpose with. I think it's safe to say, mate, it was the right decision.
That's it. And I look at it and I think, so I was 24 when I went in, 23, 24, and I thought I was on, when I first started teaching, I was on 30k a year. So it's like, I was on 25k a year, and I was working at Oldham, but driving from Sale to Oldham, car was costing me about £300-400 a month. So at the end of a month, I was coming away with just like over £1,000. And I was thinking, I'm working full time as a teacher. This is insane. But I came off it, and it kind of just like catapulted my life a little bit. So it probably fast forwarded my life probably 5 years into the future to what I ever expected. So it was like, it set me up in ways and gave me experiences that I never thought I'd ever achieve. So when people, usually if somebody goes on Love Island, they'll say, what's the best experience you've ever had? And they'll say, going on a show. That's not the case for me. So for me, people will say, what's the best experience you've ever had? And I'll be like, wow, okay, I've done this after the show, I've done this and I've done this, but it didn't come straight away. And that's something that you have to echo massively. And anybody that ever thinks about going on Love Island, like, it's not guaranteed that you're going to be successful after it. It's not guaranteed that you're going to be able to do the things that you want to do, because most of the people that go on it because you want to have like Pretty Little Things deals, Boomermans and stuff like that. But those deals they're not just, you don't like, they're pointless. Like, I mean, it's really, really good because you might earn a bit of money, but you can't go on a show like that, especially when we're churning out 2 a year, and expect that you're going to stand out, because only 3-4 people from that show will be able to make a bit of a career for themselves after it. And I was fortunate that it probably took me a while, probably took me the first year trying to find out, but then people started to realise that I was authentic in working education, working in rugby, okay, that I genuinely loved these things, that all of a sudden I started getting opportunities. I was with Sky Sports last week, a couple of weeks ago in Dublin, okay, at the British and Irish Lions, and I'm looking at myself thinking, I'm on this trip with Sky Sports, like, that is unreal. At the Allianz, this is heads just blowing, and I've just got to try and live in the moment and enjoy these, but continue working hard in it, continue trying to make a bit of a name for myself.
Well, you've not changed lanes.
Yeah, but
I think social media is, and the attention that comes with it, it's just a magnifying glass. Like what we do with the football team, the wins are just the same wins as every other team in our league, and the losses are just the same as every other team in our league. But because of the social media numbers, it's just a magnifying glass. So it just amplifies everything that's going on. So when you're doing the things that you're doing, like you said, it accelerated what you were doing 5 years, just because it's a magnifying glass on it. You probably would have still gone on and done the things or put the things in motion that you wanted to do. But because you've had, the gift or curse of attention, depending on how you end up using it, you've ended up using it for the things that fulfill you and do you anyway.
This is what I always tell people. I'm like, social media is not the devil at all. Okay, you have to be able to utilize it. It's probably one of the most powerful tools you can ever use. Okay, if you've got a passion, put it on, and you want to achieve something, put it on social media. Because if you put it on there, you don't have to have like thousands and thousands of views. You just have to have the right views, And if you have the correct views on it, then all of a sudden it opens gateways and paths to things that you could only ever dream of. And that's something that I didn't realize earlier on. So like I mentioned, first year I didn't realize that. When I started putting things out there, and then all of a sudden you get in contact to keep coming.
Well, what changed? Was it just time, realization?
I think it was just, I think the social media landscape changed a bit, and I probably became a bit more confident with it. I think Instagram went a bit more like TikTok, so it stopped being from pictures where people just be posing, and that's never been, I'm not a very posy person really.
Said the Love Island winner, by the way.
And I'm really not. Like, I'm really, I struggle so much being like doing a photo shoot. So it started being from pictures and being more like actually make content for social media platforms. Like, we want content, and you can do trends. Trends are quick wins for me. I think, okay, keep my engagement up. I'll do a few trends, but then I'll also interject it with things that I care about. And then if you do that, then all of a sudden your platform will stay quite stable. And never really happens that when I look at my social media and I look at my social media following, like 2.5 years, coming up to like 3 years later, I've still got the same following. In fact, I've got more followers than I ever started with. But usually what happens within the first year, you start losing loads of followers. But I think because I've been consistent and I've been me on there, it's managed to stay the same, and I've managed to stay like quite stable with it.
Well, you've got to think.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the people from the outside looking in and totally judging with everyone with a big broad brush, which if I'm wrong, but I'm not, so I don't think I am. If the people that are just going on the Love Island, what now? Like, it's that, what else? Okay, cool.
Well, I saw something the other day.
What now are you doing?
And it made me laugh. I was just on social media the other day, and there was somebody that wasn't, I don't even think they were on it for long. Like, I've never been like an avid Love Island watcher. Like I said, I love and appreciate my time on the show. But somebody went, I can't go back to a normal 9 to 5 because I went on Love Island. And my head just went, I was like, why can't you go back to a normal 9 to 5? So
how long is the show? 10 weeks?
Yeah, it's like 8, 10. I don't even think they were on it for that. But I was thinking, why do you not believe that you can go back to a normal 9 to 5? Like, what sort of lifestyle fame do you think that you've got from it? Like, you've got to be real. Like, you can't just go on a show and expect to sponge your life off it, live off it for the remainder of your life. And also, what self-respecting person just wants to be known of a maximum 8 weeks of a life? Like, who wants to look at their life and always be defined when they're 70 years old? Oh yeah, they went on Love Island once. Like, their quality. Why do you not want to achieve anything else? So that baffled me. And I guess that goes on to, like, after the show, I started teaching again, because I looked at myself and I thought, well, what do I identify myself with? And as we mentioned in here, I identify myself with teaching and I identify myself with education. So I went back into teaching, probably a year after winning the show, which is just like, people don't really think of that, and I don't really associate with it. And would probably be thinking, you went on Love Island, you can teach. And it's like, yeah, because I think I conducted myself well. First job I applied for, first job offer I got. And I was buzzing because I still had that little bit of doubt in my mind. I was thinking, will I be able to do this? And
did it come up? Well, how did it come up in the interview? Because of course it came up in the interview.
Exactly how it's come up in here. So they just said to me, so yeah, we know you're on Love Island. And I was like, yeah, I was. And as I mentioned the whole time, even in this, like, on this podcast now, I went, yeah, but I was completely authentic. So if you didn't like anything I did on that show, then okay, you're not going to like me. But if you liked what I did on that show, can you see my social media? Because I guarantee whenever you go through an interview process, or whenever, it doesn't matter who you are, if you've been on TV or not, you'll have a little gander on Instagram, okay, just to see what this person's about. And I thought to myself, so if you've invited me in for an interview, okay, second interview, because you have the online one as well, then you obviously like something that you're looking at. And I just went and said, like, listen, I'm passionate about this. This is something that I really, really care about. And then they just gave me the job there and then. Yeah, it was, so it's part-time. It was teaching a bit older, so it was like 16 to 18. So it was like mainly sixth form. So it was a different challenge for me. It was more theory. And I'm not going to lie, I was absolutely bricking it on the first day, because I thought, this is literally like, the students that I'm teaching here are the students that would have watched me, okay, because this is the main demographic for people that watch Love Island.
And what was the reaction?
Watching them, they're buzzing. But
did they know you were coming beforehand, or was it kind of like walk in, and they go, no?
Yes, I walked into the classroom, and it was their first day as well, and I just addressed it straight away. I just thought, I'm not gonna ignore the elephant in the room. I just went, yeah, okay, so I was on Love Island, this, but I went, and if you ever doubt that I'm qualified enough, I was like, I've got these degrees, this, and this is my background. Okay, so if you like it, you like it. And all of them loved it. And I think because I never shied away from any questions from them, and I said, so I'm going to give you 10 minutes now to just ask me any questions you want. Asked away, and it wasn't awkward at all. Like, you know what? After a couple of weeks, just bat an eyelid to me. They all followed me on Instagram. Like, and I thought, are they going to start commenting mad stuff? Nah. It's like thumbs up, really supportive stuff. They'll comment, this is really cool, Kai. Like this and that. And I just thought, you know, fair play. And yeah, so I did. So I've just finished my first year working there. And it was a new experience, yeah. very, very, very different experience to working like traditionally in a school. But it's, like I said, it's something that I'm passionate about and something that I wasn't sure if I'd be able to go back into, but I have been able to just because I am who I am.
Roll me back into the Villa, because like I said, clueless.
Yeah.
Talk me through an entire 24 hours in the Villa. What is that like?
Yeah,
Is there like production behind the scenes? Like, I've seen it on clips on social media, and I just thumb it all. I'm gone. Like,
You don't really do much, you know. Like, I'm not even gonna lie.
set me the entire scene. I haven't seen a second of it. So like, what are we doing? We're in a villa.
Yeah, so
we're
you're
in somewhere hot.
Yeah, so I was in a villa in South Africa, probably one in the vineyard of South Africa.
Right.
Probably one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen in my life. Wake up in the morning.
Yeah. How many's in the house?
Depends. Minimum 10. Minimum 10
Okay.
people at a
So
time.
that's the contestants.
Yeah, so the
Is that
contestants.
what you call it, contestant?
Yeah, I guess so.
How many production are in there?
And
Are they?
you don't see production.
So it's a bit like Big Brother House, where it's like all hidden.
So it's like all hidden, like cameras just in the corners, or in the walls. So walls were sliding and big camera will come on you. And then, so you wake up and you know there's like a voice of God. He'll say to you, "Good morning, Islanders." And then time to go and speak, debrief from whatever happened last night. Go and sit. The boys go and sit at the back of the garden. Girls go and sit here. You'll do that. Then you know that the cameras will be off because you'll be eating and we don't record when you're eating breakfast. And then they'll probably give you like 3 hours in the garden just doing absolutely nothing, or you might have a challenge. Then you'll have lunch. Then you'll go back. Honestly, it's quite boring. Like you just basically sat in the
The day to day is boring.
Yeah, like it's quite. You don't really do much. Probably like 4 times a week there'll be a big challenge that we'll be working towards, and then it's the night time that gets a bit more juicy, because at the night time there'll be people getting dumped from the island, or there'll be like public votes, or a recoupling, so you can pick a new partner to go with.
So you have to go in and you have to kind of like pick a partner.
Pretty much, yeah.
So you like what, date them ish? While you're in
Yeah,
there?
so you like kind of like, so you go in, you pick a partner, they pick you, or
Sorry, I realise
Yeah.
I probably sound. People probably watching
no,
this
no.
just pulling their hair out.
it's all good. And then all the public will put you together, but eventually you end up with a person that you want
Wait,
to
the
be
public will put you together?
with. Yeah, I don't think we did that on my season, but I think that's what we're doing now. So the public, do you know what it is? It's just like a real Tinder. So just imagine Tinder.
I predate dating apps.
Okay, well, you know what Tinder is. Okay, everybody knows what Tinder is. So it's like a real life Tinder. Okay, with a few challenges. Yeah. But
So you walk in, you go, I like her, I'm going to date her.
yeah.
And then the public will be like, no, you're not. You're dating her over there now.
Maybe, yeah, that probably. There's so many different twists. There's so many different scenarios. Like, yeah, that's probably happened before, yeah.
And then they film your interactions together.
Yeah, they film your conversations, edit them,
That's madness.
introduce more people. So you'll be dating with somebody, it'll be going really well, and then we'll introduce somebody else that we think you might like, and you might have to go on a date with them. Mine was actually really smooth sailing. So like,
They bring like exes in of people and stuff like that.
I think we have done. We did it in my season. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, mine was actually really smooth sailing.
They give you like alcohol and that of an evening just to... No, they don't.
Just one drink.
All right.
Yeah, so I think they give you one drink in the evening as soon as you go out into the garden, and then that's it.
Right.
I think in the earlier seasons we used to give alcohol and let people smoke and stuff like that, but mine was quite just like, yeah, everybody was completely sober,
Right.
which makes it a bit more concerning about some people's reactions of the ways we were.
What is the quite spicy reactions?
Yeah, like just people acting up. But as I mentioned earlier, some people are going on there because they know if they react a certain way, okay, or they act a certain way, that they'll get a lot of airtime. So that's how they act.
Right.
Okay, so they'll be playing up for the cameras. You'll see it when you know that they're recording. You'll see people just getting a bit more like flamboyant, acting up a bit, reacting to things that we wouldn't normally act to. But that's just them. Like, that is literally just them. Yeah.
And then how often do the public votes? Like weekly?
Like twice a week, yeah.
Right. And that's what, getting rid of people?
Yeah, getting rid of people, making people vulnerable, and stuff like that.
So you win it by the public like what they're
Yeah,
seeing
so-
from you and your partner?
Yeah, so the public end up voting. So I think in the final, the public vote for you, but when it got to it, I like it's very school-like. So you have like the school, like the popular ones, okay, and the unpopular ones. And I felt like me and my missus, we would to be unpopular ones. We didn't really get involved with anything. Nobody in the Villa thought we were going to win it. Every single time there was a dumping leading up to the final, we thought, oh yeah, we're probably going to go home now. I mean, it got to a day of the final, and we were like, what on earth is this? Like, I remember the boys opened the door because it's a live final and there's public in the garden. And each boy went one by one, put their head out the door, came cheer, cheer, cheer. I put my head out the door in the garden, just like went mad. I gave a guy, and I turned around and I went, what is this? Like, me, okay, that's just sat in the corner of a garden, not done anything, okay, for the past 6 weeks or 8 weeks, whatever it is, for cheering like this for. Like, I don't understand why anybody's found me entertaining on here. But yeah, we voted and we ended up winning.
What do you think it was that got you the votes?
I think it's just because we just kept ourselves to ourselves, and I think we just focused on actually building a relationship, and it worked because we're still together now, and it stood the test of time. I think if it fizzled out after a couple of months, then yeah, but we're still together now, and it's as strong as ever. I think when you meet somebody, you just know, don't you? I think with both of us, we just knew, and we just stopped. Like, we just weren't interested in playing the game. And I think that became very, very clear. We were just more interested in getting to know each other and focusing on one another.
Is that uncommon?
I'd say so, yeah. People like a bit of drama. People know what it's about. But because I'd never really watched the show before, I honestly went on there. I thought, you know what, like, it's going to be a mad experience, and hopefully I'll meet somebody. So I went on there with like the most genuine intentions ever, and it worked for me. Like, it really did.
Do you think people are or were going on with like a strategy or
definitely
a career in mind, maybe?
Yeah, loads of people. Like, I think you get like a lot. I think you get a lot of influencers going on there already. So people are going on there because it's going to be a boost for the socials and stuff like that. But I don't think that works. I think if you're going to go on there, you've got to go on there for genuine intentions and actually go on there to find love. And if you go on there to find love, then it'll all work out for you. And people, you know what? People laugh at it, but I also think the fact that they get 36 or 30 random people in a villa, again, hope that some people are actually going to be in a relationship will stand the test of time. I think even if you get one couple out of that, that's insane. Like, that is insane. And every single season, we always usually end up having like one or two couples that will just stay together, okay, and we've been together for years.
What's the other one? The Dancing on Ice. Doesn't that seem to have like a mad thing where people seem to get together and getting married and all sorts from doing that?
Oh, no. I think what happens on Dancing on Ice? I think they get together, they're already in a relationship.
It breaks a relationship.
Yeah, and it breaks a relationship, yeah.
Or finds the right one.
Yeah, who knows, yeah. But, yeah. So it's one of them. Mm.
Okay, so we've come out of the house. You've now loved up, got a new missus. What's those first few days like? And at what point do you like organise a date with the missus without a camera being there?
So first couple of days are mad because you go in there just unknown, just a regular person. And then all of a sudden, still a regular person, but everybody knows who you are. I remember getting off a train in Piccadilly, and then a guy jumped out of his car, paparazzi camera, bang, takes pictures of me, and I'm thinking, how on earth did this guy know that we were there? Like, nobody's tipped him off. So I don't know if it was the person that organised a train ticket for us, okay, but it was just insane. And then when you first come off a show as well, first couple of days, you're still with Love Island. So they filmed another show called After Sun. So it's like the reunion show. So we had cameras following us around, and I remember my family organised like a big party for me at a local pub, and everybody that I'd ever known was there and ready to see me. But that was part of the show as well. So the camera crew were there, and I really, really wanted to enjoy it, but they're pulling me. No, Kai, please can you come and speak to Karen? Can you do this? Can you do this? And I had to just keep saying sorry to people. I was like, sorry, I've got to go and do this, I've got to do that. And then before I knew it was the end of the night. So life didn't really get normal for like an extra week after the show. And then you just riding the high, I guess. Like, it's just everything's just constant, just people inviting you here, people inviting you there.
Now you've got to get an agent. I don't know if the show maybe organised that or something, but like, these are considerations now, I guess.
Yeah, so you've got to get a manager. People are saying, what are you going to do with your career? And I'm like, career? I was like, I never went on here for a career option. I did not see me going on that show as a career at all, or a career change. People are like, what are you going to do now? It's like, well, I'm just going to do what...
Apply for a teaching job.
Yeah, I'm just doing what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm just going to just take a bit of time, relax, enjoy my new missus, and just get to know each other. And we just focused on just spending as much time with each other, getting to know each other. as humanly possible. And within, I think, at the end of the first month, I went, you know what, I'll move down south. So I ended up moving down south with her. And ever since then, we've just been inseparable. And we've always said the thing that comes first to us is our relationship. Everything else comes second to that. So that's always been our main focus, just spending time with each other, building a relationship and getting to know each other properly. And it's all worked out for us. So.
What's been the most surprising or hardest thing to deal with the recognition that came?
I don't think it's public. I think it's more people that I always knew but was never close with. And I'd get messages off people saying, do you want to come out for a pint? And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, yeah, I know you. Okay, I've known you for a very long time, but I've never been out for a pint with you. If I came out for a pint, if I went out for a pint with you before the show, it would have been a really, really weird scenario, let alone now. Or people that I knew asking me for pictures. And I'm thinking, but I've known you for why do you need to validate that you know me? Because we do know each other. What is this? And you're just acting different around me. People just treat me different. All right, that was very, very weird. And also anywhere that I've travelled in the world, being recognised. I was in the middle of Mauritius, people asking for pictures. I was in Jamaica. I was in a KSC in Kingston, Jamaica. Somebody asked me for a picture. New York, Times Square. I took about 10 pictures in Times Square, and I'm thinking, why do you want a picture with me? And
Have you wrapped your head around that yet?
No, not at all. Because I went to New York. That was in January. I went to New York. February, I went to New York. And then I went back, I think the day after I was teaching. I was thinking, you want a picture with a teacher? You want a picture of me, just a regular guy that's just teaches and just lives a normal life. It just baffles me. Yeah. I can understand why they'd do it, because before I went on a show, if I saw anybody that I recognised or was very familiar to me, I'd be like, oh, can I get a picture of you? This is really, really cool. But to me, I don't see myself the way that other people might necessarily see me. I just see myself as just a normal guy who lives a regular life. And I think where I live now as well, it's quite a quiet place. So I could go, if I don't leave there, I could go a week without anybody saying anything to me or recognising me. For all of a sudden I go out of there, go to, for example, Trafford Centre, and I know for a fact I'll just have a lot of pictures. It used to be a lot worse, okay, but it's still quite frequent.
Who gets recognised most, you or your missus?
Oh, I'm 60,
or is it?
Yeah.
Are you two combined a lightning rod for it?
Yeah, pretty much. If we're together, then people will come up to us and ask us. But probably on a day-to-day, probably me, just because I'm so tall. So I stick out like a sore thumb. Anywhere I'm going to be, people see me. Can't really hide.
What's helped you stay grounded, do you think? Is it the fact that you went into it thinking this was never going to be a career change? It was almost a bit of a laugh.
I think it's just... I just kept the people that are close to me. As bad as it sounds, I didn't really not really made any new friends out of it. I've got a missus out of it, which is that's golden. That never happens. But normally people make loads of new friends of it, and then they live this Love Island lifestyle. But for me, I just kept the same friends that I always had, and that was it. So to them, I'm still Kai. We still have a laugh. We don't even talk about Love Island. We have a laugh about the stuff that we were doing 10 years ago. Do you remember this? Do you remember that? Or do you remember when you said you wanted to do this? So at the minute, I've got ideas that I want to do, and my best mate, he's looking at it for me because he's a financial advisor and stuff like that, accountant. And he's like, yeah, you can do this, but because they genuinely really care. And I don't have loads of friends, but the friends that I have are near enough family to me. I absolutely love them to pieces. Do anything for them, they'll do anything for me. So I think that's it. And weirdly as well, when I look back, the new friends that have entered my life, they're not influencers, they're not social media, they're not this, they're not that. The new friends that have entered my life are actually just regular, normal people that play rugby. So it's so different. It's so different to usual. And I think that's probably what's kept me grounded. And I also mentioned earlier that I never saw it as being an achievement winning Love Island because I'd never really watched it. It was never something that I thought, oh wow, that's amazing, up until recently. And when I'm reflecting on life now, because that's what I'm trying to be a bit more reflective on my life and also live in the moment, that I'm reflecting on, I'm that was really cool. That's amazing. I'm actually proud of this thing that I wasn't proud of at the time. That is unreal. So I think that's probably it.
Has your missus struggled with any aspect of it?
Well, she's very grounded as well. So she's a social worker. So she finished her qualification off this year. So she qualified as a social worker beforehand, was working it, and she didn't want to give it up. And she went back. She works 3 days a week, finished off her qualification, and works with young people that are going through some of the most terrible situations and circumstances. So I think because we're both together and we're both so similar in what we care about and what we want to achieve in life, that's probably what's worked. And we both kept ourselves really grounded, because you've got a teacher and a social worker living in a house. You go into any other Love Island couples and it's like you've got an influencer and an influencer. So it's different. Like, I feel like we're just different. I can't even explain it, because they are lovely people. Most of the people that you meet that have been on a reality TV show are really, really lovely, and I've got to stress that. But it's just different, yeah. I feel like for me, that was just a period of my life and a show that I appreciate. It's given me loads of opportunities. It's excelled my life, but that's not my whole life. That's not everything about me.
I love that one of the first things that you did as soon as you came out was jumping into the England schools sort of rugby campaign. It's you.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, it isn't like here's a new vodka and here's me in Ibiza with Wayne Lineker. It's
never actually been Ocean Beach, so yeah.
Keep it that way.
Right.
So yeah, England rugby, like how'd that come about? And how many I turn a lot of campaigns down if I get a lot of random stuff coming my way. How much have you had come across your inbox that you've gone, absolutely not?
Well, I don't. So firstly, I don't necessarily see it all. So my management deal with everything. So if something comes into my inbox or emails or something, I just forward straight on.
How many teachers do you reckon got a manager?
You know what? There's some decent teacher influencers that are doing really, really well, and they're so inspiring. So probably quite a couple. Like, there's some that I see that are doing special things, very special things. But the England rugby, that was Touch the Twickenham campaign. I remember I opened my phone, so it was as soon as I got my phone back, I was going through my messages. And
by the way, that must have been a mess.
Yeah, it was. My phone was just, for the first week after, my phone was just pinging. I remember I was opening it and it was just followers coming in constantly, because my phone was turned off. I wasn't allowed to use social media for 10 weeks. But when you start using it, all of a sudden it just...
Do they put your account private, so unprivate your account while you're in there? Or did you have to unprivate your account before you went in there?
I think they unprivate it. They unprivate it and upload your picture.
Right.
But then we don't do anything else. Your account just stays dormant. So yeah, anyway, my phone's pinging. But verified accounts on Instagram, when you get messaged by them, sometimes they pop to the top. And that one popped to the top. It was England Rugby. Hi, Kai. Well done on winning Love Island. Would really like to discuss something with you. And I went, oh. My mum was there. First time I saw my mum, probably went, oh my God, this is insane. So anyway, I ended up running a campaign for them, and before I knew it, within a couple of weeks, I was back in schools teaching touch rugby to the students, and I was like, this is mad. Like, straight away, back in schools teaching touch rugby, something that I absolutely love doing, and it was just like the perfect campaign that aligned with me. And then before I knew it, like, there's been so many amazing rugby campaigns that I've worked on, and other education campaigns as well. So at the minute I'm working with Gallagher, who are like the headline sponsor for Premiership Rugby, and we're helping to introduce 2,000 teachers into rugby so that they can deliver it into their schools. So recently what I've been doing is we've been sending over the lesson plans that they're planning to give to the teachers to help educate them into the delivery. I've been going through them, adding stuff to them, making it, and I'm thinking, this is unreal that I'm in a position now, because people trust me enough to be able to give my influence on something that's going to be going nationally. And that's been an unreal opportunity. I've worked with so many amazing educational companies, but even been working with nurseries, with Bright Horizons, getting more people working into early years education as well. That's been doing that non-stop now for probably about a year and a half. So I've just been doing campaigns and working with companies that just really align with me.
So that's the thing that's firing you up. So are you able to now go, obviously meeting your missus is fantastic, but from a personal fulfillment point of view, are you able to go, things like the England campaign, the Gallagher campaign, using your platform for things that completely align with you? Is that what's sparking you up in the morning? Yeah,
definitely. I mean, it's very consistent now, but it's not every single day I'll be doing something like that. But it'll be 4 times a month. I'll have something that really, really aligns with me, which is like a big project that I can put out there, or I'll have, which is just something that I'm in such a fortunate position that I can do that. So as I progress into the future, I want to carry on doing that. I want to carry on using my platform for the good. I want to try and, it's hard because when you have a social media presence, you know what the quick wins are. Like I know what sparks engagement on my accounts, and it's not necessarily stuff that aligns. It doesn't not align with me, but it's not stuff that I necessarily want to put out there. So I know for a fact if I put a trending TikTok out there or a trending Instagram reel, I know that I'll get X amount of likes, so many views, and my engagement will spike up and my account will pop up a bit more often. But if I post something about rugby, which is my demographic of followers is slowly changing, okay, it probably won't get the engagement that I necessarily want or in comparison to that. So now it's trying to post the stuff that I really like, okay, and that I really, really care about with a few of these fun, trendy, jokey things, and then hopefully eventually fade into just posting things that I really care about because my followers have transitioned into that and we followed my journey and we really, really care. And then when that happens and my platform becomes more consistent with just education and rugby, then all of a sudden more and more opportunities will open because I would have grown, okay, that social media platform that way. So, yeah.
Do you think you've changed at all by going on the show? I think you've stayed true to you, but
I've changed.
Do you think you've changed?
Yeah, I've changed.
In what way?
I think I've probably grown up a bit more. So I've not messing around with my mates as much as I used to. Like just like knocking around on my weekends, doing this, doing that. I think I've just become an adult. I think when I went on there, I was very much post-uni, just living that post-uni life, just messing around, fooling around. But now I think because I'm uber aware of what people think of me and how I act and how one little thing I say can just get taken out of context and put in a certain way, and I've just been focusing a bit more on just becoming an adult. I know exactly what I want. I'm in a position. I'm getting married. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm getting married. I know that I want kids in the future. I'm getting my life in line because I'm in a fortunate position to be able to set myself up now for a bit of a while. So that's just what I've been focusing on. So I've been focusing more on me instead of just messing around, me and my relationship and my family, rather than just being selfish and just, yeah.
What would you say to people that have been sort of circling the idea of teaching? What can you describe what it is that you get out of teaching?
Teaching's probably one of the hardest jobs you'll ever get, and at the end, and it's an unbelievably important job as well. I think teaching sport is really important because you have to push your health drive, and health is so important. And you really like. I had a love of rugby created in me through my teachers, but you also have to be able to create that love of sport and just help them. It doesn't necessarily have to be a love of sport, just health and fitness through the children. But teaching other subjects like English, maths, it is extremely difficult because you have to be on the ball, you have to know your stuff. But it is worth it. You're never going to be a millionaire being a teacher. So if you're getting into teaching because you think, I want to be a millionaire, I want to be rich, you're in the wrong profession. You're getting into teaching thinking, yeah, I'll just shoot up the ladder straight away and I'll become a head teacher. I'm there on, I don't even know how much I'm on, like 80k upwards, then I'm going to be sorted for life. But that's going to take, if you're going to do that, that's going to take you minimum 10 years. So you've got a graft at the bottom, okay, do all the horrible jobs, do all the rubbish jobs on absolutely like pennies really. Okay.
Do you reckon there's a reward in the head teaching as well? Or do you reckon it's probably more of an admin-y kind of thing? It's
admin. So when you're a head teacher, you don't actually, a lot of head teachers don't teach. Yeah. And a lot of head teachers...
probably taking away the thing that gets you in it in the first place.
That's it. So you don't, so the further up you go, so the more money you get in teaching, the less you actually teach. But you obviously get to direct and you get to delegate. But it is rewarding, but it's also very hard because one thing that I also found hard when I first started teaching is you find out everything about these kids. And I had a really nice upbringing. Like I never woke up one day thinking my family don't love me. Like I knew that even if we didn't have everything, I knew that I had love at home. But that's not, you'd be surprised how many kids don't necessarily have that. So then when you're going into a school and then you're hearing that inside every single class, I don't even know, like 10% of them are going through really, really tough things at home. Another 10% of them are going through really tough psychological situations with their mental health. Then you've got students that are bullying them. Then you've got the students that are bullies. And you've got to deal with all that. I mean, you're looking at them thinking, I've been with these kids since we were 11 years, like for a whole year. So I've spent so much time with them, and you can see what they're going through, but you can't actually do anything about it. It's difficult. So it is mentally draining. In some of the situations, you have to realise that, yeah, you can report it, you can do as much as you can, but you can't necessarily do everything. So it's a hard job. It's a very rewarding job. You can be there. You can be the positive influence on children, but you're never going to be rich from it. And also, it's going to be very mentally taxing. But the reward is helping people get a better life and educating people and motivating people and inspiring them into doing amazing things.
And that's the thing. Yeah. When you think back about teaching, that's the thing that makes you go, yeah, I'm in the right gaff here.
That's it. And you also have to be very selfless with it as well. Because some situations where I've been, especially as I've taught older, the older I taught, I've looked at and I thought, these kids are probably never going to use this qualification that I'm teaching them. They don't really care about it. They're just doing it because we're in sixth form. So I look at it and I think, we don't really care for it and it doesn't carry that much weight, but they're here because they like sport. But I don't know, once they finish this qualification, they'll probably just go and get a full-time job elsewhere that's not sports related. So then you have to look at it and you think, am I still teaching them a way that how do I word this? So I look at myself and I think, am I still doing the things in teaching that I love doing, or do I need to put myself in a different scenario and work with people a bit younger and try and inspire them to actually really, really love sport and develop that love of sport again? Because I feel like you can plateau in teaching as well. So it's difficult. It's a difficult one.
I think sports are such a positive thing. It's so analogous to life. You don't always win. There's always a winner. There's always a loser. I think the harder you work, everything else becomes easier. And I think that's sport and life. And I think so much positivity from pretty much everybody I know has had huge influence on their life in sport. I mean, it's technically my job, even adjacent. But I think even if you don't need to become a professional in sport to work in sport. But I think that there's something that you can be taught from sport. And I got a 6-year-old daughter at the moment. Right now she's swimming and does gymnastics, but she's rock climbed and skied and played football. And I think just exposing kids to as much as possible is huge, and it's almost needed. And I know you said you wanted to go into primary schools and do multi-sport type stuff. I think that's enormous. And it's a shame that isn't as deeply rooted as it maybe should be in the culture of schools. It feels like they kind of, obviously they draft it in.
Yeah, no, we do. But I also think as well, when it comes to sport, is schools look at the curriculum and we look at the grades, the subjects that we're actually going to get graded on. So it's going to be your English, your maths and your sciences as well. And at the end of the day, that's end game. That's what they need.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the humanities aside.
Yeah, everything else comes second to that. And it's probably one of those things as well that if you're going to pursue it, unless you're going to be a professional athlete, if you're going to pursue it academically, you don't really need to make that decision up until you're about 18. And I think that's why it doesn't really get pushed as much. Even though I think schools are amazing as well at delivering sport, and you see all the facilities that schools have now, they have literally some schools have state-of-the-art facilities because of the investment that they've got in them. So if that continues to grow, and people are uber aware of health now, it's different. When I was at school, people were sneaking off on the field and smoking, or now, I mean, you might have people vaping and stuff like that, but it's not cool to smoke. It's not cool to do drugs. It's not cool to drink or anything like that. People really care about their health and physical.
What, the teenagers?
Yeah, they really care about it.
That's a change then, isn't it?
And that's something that blew my mind. It's because society, I reckon it goes in probably 10-year cycles. 10-year cycles of world changes. Kids see different things differently. But now it's not one of them. Even when I look at my peers, my friends, I look at them and I think, none of them smoke. None of them really drink. All of them just go to the gym, smash a gym, go for runs, and that's what they care about. And my mates will message me and they go, "Oh, I got 5K in under so-and-so today, how good's that?" Whereas if you asked me about 5 years ago, it probably would have been a bit different. The messages would have been completely different from them.
So what's the challenges kids are going through now? Because I can imagine, obviously, I finished high school in 2000. I'm in my 40s. Social media was not a thing.
Yeah, it's definitely social media. I think it's I think finding yourself in today's world, okay, is very different for them, because all of a sudden they're not just exposed to the people that they go to school with or the people that they that are around them, are exposed to everybody online, and they see an idealistic world online that isn't necessarily realistic, and then they go home and then the parents are working as hard as they possibly can, but just to make times end because it's so hard at the minute, but then they just can't understand that. I've got a younger sister as well. She's like 18, 19, absolutely love it to bits, but sometimes she just doesn't understand that money doesn't just grow on trees. Like, you actually have to work, and it's not always there. I mean, she does work really hard, but like, just so she's listening, I'm not slagging off, yeah. But sometimes you just have to like realize that not everything's as it seems online. So I think that's hard, and I think the comparison through that is tough. And I think just the way they navigate social media, but now the kids going through school, they're growing up with it. So as I mentioned earlier, they absolutely love TikTok. I could do a TikTok dance and they won't even laugh at it. They'll be like, yeah, that's really cool. That is really, really cool. Whereas if it was when I was in school and I saw a teacher doing that, I'd have absolutely ripped them.
I can't even wrap my head around it.
It would have been screenshot, put up all around the school, but now it's like, it's really, really cool. So
that is different.
Yeah.
That is different. It'd be interesting to see how it evolves over the next few years. Like, my 6-year-old said to me, can I have a phone when I'm 10? And I was like, when you're 25, we'll think about it, maybe. That's obviously a thing, you know, me and the missus are going to have to come to at some point when that's a decision, you know, how that.
Because we all live on it. We all live on the phone. It's like this year when I've been teaching, we don't use pen and paper, we use the phone to do the work. And I'm walking around the classroom thinking, are they actually doing it? Because I can't see it. Like, there's no spyware on phones or anything like that. You just have to take the word for it. Like, you actually doing your coursework? Yeah, I'm doing it. I walk around, be on Snapchat.
Yeah, I can't imagine how, especially for, you know, you're in sixth form age, how things like AI and ChatGPT must have just absolutely rocketed. Like, every essay that you get now, you'd be like, you did 20,000 words on that. Yeah, this morning. Especially
if you're doing, like, imagine you're doing a BTEC where it's near enough 100. Well, I think it's not 100 because you still have to do exams, but it's very heavily weighted on coursework. You can't tell. GPT is so good. It's so intelligent. Like, all we have to do is just change a few words and it's done.
How are you getting around figuring out, like, obviously everything evolves, doesn't it? So there'll be an evolution this way, which means there'll be an evolution back the other way. Do you think exams are going to end up being more practical based to prove knowledge and to prove understanding?
It's got to be. It's got to change, hasn't it? Because I'm not going to lie, when I've been going through marking coursework this year, I can't tell them that that's not ChatGPT. I mean, sometimes you can. If it's layout, okay, like we've just copied and pasted it straight away.
And at the top it says, here's your essay, and they've not deleted that.
Yeah, no,
basics, lads, come on.
It's like basically like that. Like if they've not even made an effort to just rephrase a couple of words, okay, and stuff like that, then you can tell. But a lot of the time,
put some incorrect spellings in there.
Yeah, that's it. But a lot of the time, you just can't tell. So it's difficult. I think if it's been copied and pasted straight from the internet, the software on the computers that will pop up and say this has been copied and pasted from, and it will give you the exact website. So that pops up, but not ChatGPT.
No, I guess it'll get there eventually with it. But it's going to be really interesting to see how that sort of shapes out. And I mean, that's obviously a challenge for teachers to come up with. But I've been thinking about this one, thinking like, so we use Hyde United at the moment with Paddock, and we get changed in one of their classrooms this week because there's the other change room was being used, and there was something on the board about ChatGPT, about not using it for exams, and I'm like, they're using it. They're just using it. It's as simple as that. You're going to have to come up with a way, rather than, it was like, you know, when I was going through school, they'd be like, you're not going to have a calculator on you all day. Yes, I am. How about that?
I'd be writing on my wrists and stuff like that.
Well, people are like, you're not going to be able to use ChatGPT when you get to work. Yes, I am, because everyone at work is. So you're going to have to come up with another way to be able to test knowledge. So I don't know if that's essay.
I think we've probably just got them go more exam-based, haven't they, instead of a coursework. But when people learn in different ways, people would excel a lot more with coursework than you will with exams. So it kind of puts a block on depending what sort of learner you are.
Yeah, interesting. But Kai, this has been fascinating. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. It's been good. It's been nice. It's been a nice chat, mate.
Listen, not all Love Island winners are bells.
I agree with that.
All right, nice one, mate. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. I hope that was all good.